All right, it looks like we're rolling here. Good evening, ladies and gents, interplanetary, intergalactic time travelers. We salute you. Hope things are going good for you. Just wanted to chime in here with a short one, talking about some Astro Aspects. The last couple of weeks, actually this last month, we've been talking about some Astro Aspects that are coming down the pipelines that could be interpreted as a red flag. And, you know, I always like to say that I'm not a scientist. Ironically, I'm not even an astrologer. I'm an artist. I'm a professional painter. You can see I got the new piece over here. I got the jazz, the band plays on, some jazz musicians. And we also have the Taurus here. We've got the bull with the matador. That's what this is here. You can see the blood coming down. He's got I forget what they call those, and he's inserting a kill there. But the matador is also catching a horn into his thigh, and this is a famous, very well-known, old school back in the day, but very well-known matador that came out of Death in the Afternoon is the book by Hemingway. Death in the Afternoon. I did a kind of a quasi review on my take on that book, and I also read The Art of War just a couple of episodes back. But what I wanted to do is just kind of follow up. I'm just kind of continuing on this continuity of Astro Aspects government, if you will. Kind of like a continuity of government COG, but we're throwing in these Astro Aspects. So there's, as I've said in the last couple of videos, I'm combining my intuition and my concerns or anxiety or visions or type of things and then I kind of like applying astrologically, I'm applying some of the lens. I call it the lens of Mars is the warrior. Mars, we're in World War IV. Yes, I say 4. I think 3 already happened. And so I apply that lens, the military lens, but I'm also incorporating my intuition, like different little flashes or visuals or maybe even dreams or something, you know. I think some of you can relate to that. You know, I watch a lot of videos of YouTubers and people, astrologers, like professional astrologers, not like me, you know. I'm looking for patterns. But I watch their videos and I listen to them and I kind of glean, like you go out into a farmer's field and you're kind of picking different vegetables or fruits or things, pumpkins or melons that were left over. They call them glean. There's even a nonprofit group called Gleaners, the Gleaners. So we're doing that with intelligence, with the intel. See, we're gleaning that intel. So, and as I mentioned in the last video, President Trump likes new moons for covert military operations. Last year in June, strike on the Midnight Scammer, Midnight Hammer, Midnight Scammer, same difference, right? That was new moon. So the theory there is you're coming in kind of covert, right? It's darker. So, and then it was kind of interesting because he did a full moon on that weird Maduro capture, kind of like waterboarding Maduro somewhere in the Caribbean. Where the hell did Maduro go? Do we know? Where the hell is that guy? Man, we swooped his ass up and then it's like, bam, you're in the gulag. Sorry about your luck, buddy. My God. But so that was a full moon, I believe. I might be wrong on that. But, and then there was something else. There was some other new moon energy. He likes that. So we got this new moon coming on. Now they flew into China for some sort of bizarre things. I mean, anytime Elon is tagging along and you got Larry Fink with the BlackRock, anytime you got these guys tagging along, there's some sort of weird ulterior motives, right? I mean, it's like business in play of some kind or some sort of clusterfuck, if you will. And don't mind a little bit of bar language, but some sort of a clusterfuck in the works. And, in China China, right? I mean, China. This is like the worst enemy to Trump, and then all of a sudden there's like this bromance where he's making weird comments like he somehow is attractive to Gigi or something. You know what I mean? It's just very, very odd. I'm not saying, but it's just kind of odd. So the last couple weeks ago, I kind of thought, and I mentioned last week, that there could be military action with all that Scorpio, with the revenge and Venus in that mix. Venus is the goddess of love, so that's relationships. So when you got a lot of Scorpio vibes and Scorpio energy going on, I believe that was the full moon. So that was 2 weeks ago. But I was thinking about this weekend on the radar. It was kind of like blipping a little bit. So I want to elaborate a little bit on that. Now, keep in mind, as my little disclaimer, I'm not a scientist. I'm not an astrologer, but I see patterns. And I've got some bad vibes. I've got some of these strange type of bad vibes for this new moon. So is it McKnifer? McKnifer Arrivals? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hit the like if you can. It always helps. Subscribe if you're interested in some kind of crazy bro insights, kind of crazy bro shit. I'm an artist. I'm a painter. I love artists, musicians, all you guys. I've done co-ops and things like this, throughout my life. So I'm not doing that now, but I'm looking to find a small, affordable space to kind of get the band back together, if you will, and start doing that art collective thing again. Money's tight, and my donors are all telling me not a good time for us to invest in your projects. So it's pretty brutal. We're in a tight spot, but ironically, there's tons of open space in Portland. But anyway, what is it? DB cooking? Sorry, my eyes are a little off. I don't know why they've been a little bit blurry today. And then I can't read that. The Demo Kazuki. Thanks for coming in, everybody. So I'll try not to be too long-winded. If anybody wants to talk about anything, if you got any chats, if anybody's depressed and needs some free advice, I'm always good for that. I'm used to answer the suicide hotline. Crisis counselor. I'm a trained crisis counselor and studied some child psychology after my daughter was born. So the last 15 years, I actually went to college for the first time, which was kind of interesting. But I've got some crisis counseling skills. You don't have to be doom and gloom, but if you are doom and gloom, feel free to share, Call in. I wish I had a call-in line. We should have a call-in line sometime. But let me get out a little bit about this astrology here, because there's some interesting dynamics. There's a whole lot going on. And I don't want to say it's like I'm not getting the Scorpio vibes. Any of you that know me, I'm allergic to Scorpio. I'm a Taurus, as a matter of fact. I just had a birthday. And we used to call it the running of the bulls. The running of the bulls was all the Taurus in the corral. We'd have a band. We'd be making margaritas and just having a really good time back in the old days. And there were so many artists that are Taurus. So we would call it, I think it was more like me was kind of nicknamed it the running of the bulls. Now in astrology, when there's a whole bunch of Taurus coming on or rooted in like it is right now, it is kind of a running of the bull type of vibrations, if you know what I mean. D subscribed. Hey, thanks, D. That popped up on my laptop. Where's D at? Thanks, D. That's really interesting because the laptop's over here and it didn't tell me here, but it popped up there. So anyway, so there with the Taurus energy, this is kind of me being a Taurus, me loving Taurus. I love the energy. I love Taurus women. Thanks, D. Likes your energy. Man, we love your energy for coming down. But so the whole Taurus it's a plus to me. So I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer. I don't want to be like this, like this bummer mud stick, bro. It's like, bro, what's wrong with the Taurus? There's nothing wrong with any of the astrology signs. In fact, I love Scorpio women. They just happen to be like sometimes nearly kill me. And that could be an issue there. that could be an issue. You got to be careful of who you let in your life, and people you surround yourself, especially people you're gonna like start making out with and jump in bed with. I mean, Christ, you're gonna do that. You better make sure that they're not gonna try to kill you while you're sleeping. So, I mean, nobody wants that. What is this? Something about a coffee. Isn't that funny? Wow. So they want me to take some poll about a coffee. That is really strange. So I'm kind of rambling a little bit. That's my style. But I do want to get a little bit about this astrology. I'm kind of doing this weird disclaimer for Taurus. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm connected to the Taurus energy, right? So it's like I connect with it. So saying there's a red flag or this could be issues. Now, just let me get it out. I don't know why I'm being so weird like that. The Taurus energy can also be like the bullfight, right? It's a perfect metador. I love this little painting. It's an interesting book, too, that Hemingway, like I mentioned. It's the bullfight. Now, psychologically, the bull could be our subconscious, if you will, right? If we just kind of did a little, dipped our toes in that cold little river creek, it feels so good, right? Dip your feet, take your socks off, and kind of dip your toes in that beautiful mountain chilly creek. Oh, so good. If we do that a little bit, if we do that a little bit about analyzing the psychology of our subconscious and the things, the habits we may have, the desires we may have, the lust we may have, the gamblers that are the battle of the gamblers. God, I'm not a gambler, but I have had so many gambler friends. Oregon, there's a lot of video poker and gambling in Oregon. So that's a part of it. You can't walk in for a drink wherever it is and not have video poker calling people into it. So I'm not a gambler, but the gambler psychology is like that battle. That is the essence of the matador and the bull, because they get into those slots. They get into that flush fever, if you will, and they can't break it. They can't get out. And when they hit, they're like, oh, that's the spirit world telling me I got to go back in there and play. The machines are hot. I used to have my buddy Morgan, when he'd hit, he'd go, man, the machines are hot. Come in here. Machines are hot. And I'm like, machines are hot. And then I've had a couple of girlfriends. How are you with relationship advice? I'm very, very good at that. I'm very, very good at that, D. That's a perfect call in. We got D on line 1. Yeah, D, go ahead. Tell us what's going on. What's going on with your relationship? What would you like to share with us? I gotta get a call-in number, man. Much love from Sydney, Australia. Oh, Joanne Gray, much love from Sydney, Australia. You're down in that neck of woods. It's been on my mind. Joanne, you've been on your area, little New Guinea. You've probably heard it's your area. Have you heard about this underwater volcano and these big earthquakes down there, that New Guinea area? Underwater volcanoes have been on my mind. We have one sitting I'm in Oregon, off the Pacific Northwest, right off of Oregon. And we got these cameras, and we're doing like this CIA submarine, CIA ops. We've got cameras, multiple cameras. We're all underwater. They're totally like drilled in on this volcano that's ready to pop. The volcano's ready to go. Yes, it's not very big, but it's active sometimes. Yeah, it's heated up. And there was a very strange anomaly that I follow so many people on YouTube, like scientists and stuff. There's Stefan Burns. Stefan Burns is pretty fucking awesome. He also combines astrology, which is like, who does that? Nobody does that. It's pretty fucking awesome. But the theory is that the planets, when they're conjuncting up, so if they're conjuncting means they're like the sun, when it's a new moon. This is a collage piece that I've got here. So this is the sun, right? And this is an eclipse. So this piece is the solar eclipse. This dark is the moon. So you've got the moon going in there and blocking it out. So you've got this eclipse type thing happening. And that conjunct, that's what makes it a new moon. That's why the moon is dark, right? To us on Earth, is it's there dark. The full moon, it's an exact opposition to the sun. So it would be with the Scorpio full moon. I believe it was 2 weeks ago with Scorpio full moon. I think it was. I did a video on it. I don't know why I'm forgetting. And then the moon was exactly on the opposite. Well, this, we have it together. And what's the little trickster that's got my radar up, and I've heard other people talking about it, is Mercury. Now, Mercury is the race car driver, right? It's like round and around and around he goes. You ever watch NASCAR? I mean, these guys get into NASCAR like they're hypnotized. There could be some hypnosis involved with NASCAR. I mean, think about that. They're going around and around and around. But Mercury is going that fast, and it packs a punch. It's a little guy, so it's not like some big badass like Jupiter or some Godfather type of power, but it's almost like a court jester to me, Mercury. He's a classy scholar, right? But it's like there's this little speedy comedian feel to Mercury. Mercury is clicking conjunct with the sun. So you've got Taurus. Then we got Mars coming in, I think after the weekend. Mars coming in, clicking Taurus next week. So if I got that right, I got this Astro Cafe. I did a quick little pull-up of the chart. You can get free prenatal charts, and it's interesting. I use that. It's nice being free, right? Instead of spending $40 to have a chart, I use that to target a day. And then it'll show me where all the planets and, little bing, bing, boo, boo, psh, whoop, alert. We have opposition. We have asteroids coming in for crash landing. And that's another thing that's what Stefan Burns was talking about. I noticed that a couple of weeks ago. Have you heard about all the meteors, these green glowing meteors all over the fucking world all of a sudden? Coming out of fucking nowhere. We had one zip over Washington. We've had them over California, Utah, and everybody's got cameras, right? So you've got the meteor, you got that, and now you have the conjunction. So you got Mercury coming back around. So the sun is conjunct the moon. This is all on Saturday. Conjunct, meaning drinking margaritas together, right? The running of the bulls, drinking margaritas. Joanne, I'm Taurus, just had my birthday on the 20th last month. 29th? Oh, well, happy birthday. I'm the 3rd, May 3rd. And we've got Aunt April which I haven't talked to for a long time. She's the 25th. She's a Taurus as well. So I love Taurus women. Joanne, be still my beating heart. The Australian Taurus, Venus, goddess of love, be still my beating heart. I saw a green light in the sky 2 years ago, thought I was seeing things. Nah, Joanne, it is real, and that's there's the science behind that. What's the science, Joanne? I think is it nitrogen or oxygen that it makes it green? So each color has an element, right? Like I said, I wasn't lying. I'm not a scientist. I just follow the patterns. So there's the underwater volcanoes. So it's interesting that Joanne is here. Joanne says it's oxygen, I think. I think you're right. I think oxygen makes it green. But they've been all over, everywhere. And there's some very, very close asteroids right now. And it has been actually for weeks. So what they do is they do it in lunar distance. So if any of you that are interested, spaceweather.com. Space Weather posts any kind of strangeness that's going on in our cosmos of any kind. Doesn't mean good or bad. Strangeness always implies this kind of negativity. Just, I don't know how else to say it. It's not really weird. It's just things that are going on, man. It's the friggin' weather. It's the space weather. So spaceweather.com, and down at the bottom, if you scroll down at the bottom, they're trying to sell you a bunch of weird shit. It's a weird website in a way, but it's scientific and it's got the data. That's all that matters. They're the only ones that are doing that with the data that I'm aware of. There's probably others. But you go down there at the bottom and they say all the asteroids and where they are in relation to lunar distances. That's LD. So you'll see the LD and you'll see how many meters, how close it is. So anything that's less than 1 lunar distance means it's zipping past. It's zipping between the moon and Earth, right? It's zipping right in between them. And so you've got it relatively close. And we're talking about hundreds of thousands of miles, but we have these guys that come into our atmosphere, right? That's what the green glow is. So anyway, why is it important? And it's interesting that Joanne here is from Australia, because that New Zealand has been on my mind. There's some very unique strangeness happening down there, and it looks like underwater, but there's no submersibles. They're not doing CIA special security surveillance ops like they are off the Oregon coast here. Multiple camera angles, and it's like, CIA ops of that underwater volcano. And it's gonna pop. It's ready to pop. It's overdue. And we've had hundreds and hundreds of swarms in California. We've had significant swarms and seismic activity off the Oregon coast, Juan de Fuca or Juan de Faca, depending on where you're at, if you get my drift there. But it's along that Cascadia fault line there. And so it's ready to go. That could happen this weekend. Also, what could happen, underwater volcano in Joanne's neck of the woods, sort of. I mean, it's a classic, right, Pacific Northwest bro thing to say that Australia is close to New Zealand, but we kind of just lump that corner of the ring of fire, and it kind of blurs together. I've never been to Australia. I'd love to go, but I think New Zealand or New Guinea would just be an amazing trip, but so would Western Australia. As soon as Joanne and I get married, we're going to build a house there, probably in Sydney. But closer to Tasmania, okay. So I'm seeing, or I have been seeing, and the data is popping in. The dashboard's little alerts of underwater volcanoes is kind of off unhinged. It's kind of off the record. It's kind of unusual. It's blipping out. It's like alert, underwater volcanoes all over the effing place. There's another lady I watch, programmer. She's kind of German, and she lives off the Oregon coast, but she's a scientist, and she follows. And she started talking about this volcano that I'm talking about down there, in that little corner, that little side pocket of the pool table, if you will, the ring of fire. And so it's important to follow that stuff, because we'll notice that you will see things pop up there and it will have a countering balance. Now, that's disputable. There's professors that dispute that. I've had old boomer professors come in screaming and yelling, not here, but online, saying that I'm a fool and seismic activity doesn't carry itself and there's no correlation. And it's like, okay, bro, hey, it's all good. I'm wrong. I don't need to be right, okay? But if I am right, okay, I'll let you know. And I am usually often right. So let's watch. Everything's juiced up. Let me tie this together, because it kind of sounds like I'm all over the place, and I am in a way. But it ties together. How does it tie together, boss? It ties together because when we have Mercury zipping around, when it's close to the sun, we've seen a pattern, not always. We've seen a pattern that it triggers things with Earth. It triggers the core. It triggers seismic activities. It triggers volcanic activities. And if we have this theme and this pattern of underwater volcanoes kind of waking up, if you look on the video, God, I forget her name. I'm so bad. It's like Silky or something. I mean, Silky. I feel so bad. I'm not going to spend the time to look on it, but maybe I will at the end. she notices that there's these puffs coming. Other people have too. I think Stefan might have mentioned it actually a couple days ago. There's these puffs coming out of the ocean a couple of inches on the map away from where this volcano, underwater volcano, is having activity. So what is that? What's that second puff coming out? What is creating that exhaust? Is it a second volcano? Some sort of fissure or something? I don't know. I mean, and nobody does because there's no surveillance. So maybe some geniuses down in Australia or New Zealand or somebody can get together, a little boat trip, or better yet, you really need to be submersible, right? Obviously, Dad. Obviously, bro, you need to be underneath, and it'd be nice to have it. You could actually come in with the boat. You go full on Jacques Cousteau style, National Geographic 101, and drop in a little Android submersible camera. That's it. That's the money. Man, if somebody could do that, because they may have a once of a lifetime capture of these whatever's going on down there, these underwater volcanic activity. I bet it's exhilarating but scary at the same time. Oh yeah. I mean, right? Absolutely. But isn't that a part of the thrill of the adventure? I mean, it's, you think about that, these people that are like high adrenaline risk takers. It's like they climb these cliffs in these faces of these mountains, and people drop dead all the time on mountains. We have to rescue people and sometimes pull dead corpses off of Mount Hood. We got all kinds of mountains here in the Cascade, Oregon mountain range all the time. And they claim to be experienced hikers, falling, slipping, dying, dead. Sometimes their corpses just get buried and we don't find them until much later, But they love that. They're up there for that shit because it scares the crap out of them, right? That's the same thing as with the race car driver, right? I mean, they're driving too fast because that thrill and that excitement, and ultimately that's what kills them, right? So that's kind of a good transition. I mean, that ultimately what kills them, right? You've got these thrill seekers, these adrenaline junkies, which is similar to affecting the brain of the gamblers, as I was talking about in the brain. You get this where the people have to battle that personal demon, that personal beast, that subconscious, if you will, monster or boogeyman, and it's terrifying. But it's also, when you come out victorious, it's exhilarating, right? I mean, there's a part of like, wow, I survived that. I look back and think about that all the time, and it's not like I was necessarily looking for the adrenaline. Just weird, wild, crazy near-death experiences happened to me in my life. Maybe you can relate to that too. I don't know. But so we've got that happening. We've got Mercury coming in. We've got conjunction Mercury. The sun is conjunct the moon. It's in a favorable sextile with Jupiter. And then it's conjunct Uranus. Now, Uranus, the way that I view the lens for Uranus is the bad boy. Uranus is one of the bad boys, okay? Now, like a godfather, like a mafia, like a godfather of the underworld. That's the way that I interpret. There's you read the on Uranus, and he had some crazy old lady got angry or upset and had the children, a couple of the boys, as Uranus was sleeping, chop off his balls, cut off his nuts. Uranus was castrated by one of these crazy bitches. Some crazy bitch, I can't remember her name, but this is the mythology of it. So, I mean, that's going to make you angry and crazy, and that's a side note. I'm not even sure how I feel about that. It's kind of hard to be a godfather of the underworld when your own children cut your balls off. I mean, that's a little odd. It's got a weird ring to it. But it wouldn't make you angry. I don't know if Uranus is angry. What I'm implying is that if I use that lens and filter, which there's a lot of astrologers, professional astrologers, that are cringing right now saying, I wish this guy would shut his fucking pie hole about astrology. He knows nothing about astrology. Well, I know a lot about astrology, but I'm using words so people can connect with what I'm saying. The lens, if I use Uranus as the lens, and it is also conjunct, it's conjuncting Taurus, right? Well, it clicked into Gemini. So you've got that Uranus right there on that cusp. Very slow moving, every 10 years. Just clicked in on a Gemini, and I made a video. I've talked about that. Uranus clicking. Uranus in Gemini was World War II, same. Civil War, all the way back to the American Revolution. All of those times had Uranus in Gemini right now. That's why I feel like the world coming unglued is it's in the stars, if you will, if you want to look for it, right? And then we can say correlation. I'm not saying there's a causation. I'm not saying the Godfather Uranus is going to cause crime and a bunch of crazy, military actions. But I am saying that there could be, if I use the lens of Uranus, conjuncting it with the sun, with this in the corral, like a matador in the corral of these bulls that are angry and charging and ready to kill. If you do that, then I could tie in Operation Sledgehammer. And that's what Trump is calling the new Iranian military action, the new operation. Because it looks like it's all stalled out. It looks like everybody's reloaded. And it looks like, I actually thought last weekend with that, or was it last weekend? Whenever they went in Scorpio, there was Scorpio in there. And anytime I see that, I think revenge, payback. There was some other things happening that I can't remember right off bat. It's in my last video. I love looking up at the stars. They're almost hypnotizing. Joanne, yes, absolutely. And it's really important to look up. That movie that you don't look up, it's mocking, not looking up. Whether you believe in astrology is astronomy. Astronomy is the science, okay? And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for patterns. We're looking for historical patterns. Where was Uranus when all this bloodshed and crazy domestic unrest and revolution happened for us in America? Right now in Gemini. And it's going to be there for 10 years, almost 7-8 years. It's a little 7-8 year rotation for Uranus. Very slow mover. So those are all really significant things to me. I also look for Mars. Mars, the god of war, right? So if I apply that lens, that Mars is military war, look and see how it's interacting with other things. So, for example, the moon went into Aries. So the moon is in that me first Aries right now. And it clicks into Taurus tomorrow. Tomorrow evening, the moon goes into Taurus. Now keep in mind that it has to be new moon for Saturday. The sun is in Taurus. New moon has to be in Taurus. That's what makes it new moon. We went through this. But there's also the moon is conjunct Mars tomorrow. This is West Coast surfer time, Pacific surfer time, at 2:30 p.m. And at that point, the moon is void of course. Void of course is like, it means it's kind of got a wobble. It's in between signs. You can't really say it's Aries. You can't really say it's Taurus yet. So it's got this kind of weird wobble, not a stable position. And to have it connecting with Mars, which Mars in Aries tomorrow afternoon. This is Thursday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. I always have to repeat it because I'm like, wait a minute. What is it? What? Wednesday? What? So you got to say it a couple of times. And then there's that whole East Coast. You got 3 hours, but then you got Australia. What is it? Morning in Australia? Today here. It's tomorrow, right? You're in tomorrow. Joanne is our time travelers. Today in Oregon is tomorrow for Joanne. Joanne is our time traveler. God almighty. The Aussie Taurus time traveler. Thank you for dropping in. My God. Are you single? Let's get married. My God. Let's not waste any time. It's 1:45 p.m. Thursday. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get back to reality, or wherever I was before I became in reality, which is a fun place indeed. So we're building up to the 16th, and it feels like to me, it's like I can feel it rumbling. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like you can kind of feel like psychic intuition kind of coming on. You can kind of feel like it. Thank you, Joanne. You have a good sense of humor. Thank you for not being offended and joking with me instead of. It's okay to joke at me too, by the way, but joking with me, it helps me, especially when I'm saying, controversial or silly stuff. I'm jesting. I jest. So I can feel things rumbling. There's going to be a red flag, and it's not only that it's pretty obvious that Donnie, it appears to me that he's ready to bomb Iran. And it actually appears to me that Iran is ready to turn sand into glass in Israel. I can't blame them. I mean, it's been pretty nasty, and you can't have this in between. The score has to be settled. Now, I say that as a peace advocate. I say that as I don't want World War IV to go on anymore. I think we're in it. People are like, oh boy, World War is coming. No, we're in it right now. If you haven't noticed that, Russia, China, Pakistan, India, the whole damn gang, Iran, the whole damn gang is here, folks. Japan, South Korea, the whole damn world is on the dance floor here on the Middle East. So we'll see what happens with this so-called diplomacy run, where Mars space boy Elon is tagging along, and like I said, all the rest of these billionaires. I mean, Larry Fink. Is it Larry Fink? Was it BlackRock? Is it that his name? I think that's it. There's a couple of those guys' names I screw up, like Blackstone, BlackRock. It's like I switch them around. It's just a weird dyslexic thing I do. But he's a total dirtbag. I mean, this is like a whole plane load of dirtbags, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but I mean, Elon's, he's like slightly above dirtbag. I mean, I don't know what you want to call that. I mean, it's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but I got some issues. So, but he's not a bad guy, although I'm not sure. These AI, artificial intelligent data centers, and all these guys coming in that are doing that, sucking our water, taking our electricity, screwing the working class communities. They're totally disrespecting our sovereignty, our state rights, our municipal rights, and the governors, in large part, are going along with it. I mean, that's civil war in America. And if it's civil war in America, you better believe it's a global war with all the rest of everybody else. Joanne says, I feel we're in World War IV as well, but never thought I would ever see another war. Yeah. Yes. I don't think there's any way to dispute it. Although people do want to argue with me, and I'd feel free if anybody wanted to push back on that. But it doesn't really matter, right? Because it's violence and the nukes are ready to fly. And what do you want to call that? Is that a picnic? I mean, does that feel like church? Is it like a global church service where we nuke each other at the end of the potluck? I mean, I've had some family reunions that were pretty dicey. I mean, there's some family members that I actually avoid. I mean, just completely, especially on my dad's side. And so, there's things that can happen at family reunions that are just, they're not pretty. It's not pretty. But what is this? We're going to nuke each other? It's like we're having a wedding ceremony in the Middle East, and all of a sudden, pew, 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 there's Chinese direct energy weapons coming out of the clouds. Or probably more likely, UAE. UAE likes to electrocute their clouds, and that floods Pakistan and India and blah, blah, blah. But so, I've had bad vibes for a couple of weeks, specifically about the weekends. That's just a weird coincidence because it's not always like that. The full moon was on Saturday. We got new moons on Saturday. This month of May is very unique. A blue moon. The blue moon is the second full moon. I think it's May 31st. And I've got a friend that invited us over. We're going to have a bonfire. And Unfortunately, the city lights are going to, and then with the full moon, but it's still going to be kind of cool. But that's happening. So we've got that happening. I think that's on the weekend too. So it's just a weird kind of coincidental thing that it's been happening on the weekends. Well, that also fits kind of nicely into what Dawn's repeat pattern of homicidal killing has been, is that he likes the Friday news cycle. So they go and do all this crazy fucking shit, whisk up and kidnap, leaders of other countries and weird shit like this on Fridays. And he's dropping bombs in the gravel pits in the sand, trying to get the nukes in Iran. They do this on Fridays. And now we're looking at it again. So the pattern actually fits the mold. It's not just a cold, right out of nowhere psychic impression, and I'm trying to put that jigsaw puzzle piece somewhere, if you will, right? Although it does feel like that sometimes. I do kind of feel like I'm putting these little pieces to a puzzle together, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like click. But really, to be honest, I have the psychic intuition, but it's not clear. Things are not clear. So it's like, but I know that there's somewhere. So I start doing science of the laws and of probability. So I'm like, okay, this is going here. We got a red alert. We got Mars on the dance floor. We got the running of the bull, which there's, people are prone to head trauma. If you're going to ride your motorcycle, put your helmet on and be careful. Be aware of head trauma. Okay. Just generally speaking, I mean, that's good, solid medical advice no matter what, right? The brain is a fragile melon, right? I mean, it's got a nice protective shell, but head trauma, right? I see head trauma, right? And there's probably a lot of head trauma every day. So it's not like it's totally out of this, but head trauma of who? A high celebrity? Head trauma of who? Of what? What is this head trauma? So that's how it is for me. It's like kind of fuzzy. And I'm kind of looking at it. I'm like, what is all this? What is going on? Same thing with the underwater volcanoes. It's like I take these little blips, these little intel drops. I glean them from other programmers that are talking about these different dynamics that are going on, or concerns that they have, or really just they're observing nature. I mean, that's all we're doing with these volcanoes. Huge, massive clusters of earthquakes and volcanic activity around Japan. Huge, massive earthquakes on the West Coast, over here, California, Alaska. I mean, things are ready to pop. And that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if the underwater volcano did something here off of Oregon. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had some major, big daddy earthquakes, like ones that'll trigger tsunami warnings, 7s, 7.5, 8, 8.5. I mean, huge, devastating things. Why do I say that? Because another part that we see, not only with little Mercury, not with crazy race car driver kid, but also we have massive interplanetary conjunctions. There is double trine type of shapes, triangulations. They call it a trine, where you have multi-planets that are creating these geometric shapes that are not that common. It's not rare, although some of them are rare. Some of them are very rare, but I don't want to minimize that. But it's just significant. It's a click. It's like a click. It's like you're waiting like a clock. Click. It's a clicking. And so that's also a kind of part of how my interpretation, kind of that psychic impression, where I'll get, it's like a little click. It's like it just clicks. And I'm like, yeah, that feels right. Underwater volcano. It's all happening. It's all over. What's going on? I mean, we're going to get more of this. Yes. So, for example, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago? The last video is I was talking about water. Water. What does that mean? Flooding? Okay. Tsunamis? Where? It's like there's nothing clear, but there's this water. So, and sure enough, this hantavirus spawns out of the ship on water. on water everywhere. So I can look back. Not that it really matters. You might say I'm overreaching or I'm stretching. You could say any kind of, and it's all valid. But I can look back and say, okay, water. That kind of makes sense now, where we have this massive, could be staged, could be real, pandemic-esque of this Fanta virus is what I was calling it, because it's the Andes virus. Andes, okay? I don't know. I don't want to move it all around, but I've been painting ancient Andes hieroglyphs. If you look in some of my other videos, and I've talked about it, it's Peruvian, ancient Peruvian. I like to paint ancient type of, not really necessarily artwork, but images. I love ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. I've got all kinds of paintings. If you look back on some of my videos, and I always have my new paintings and stuff behind me, and you'll see this. You'll see these things. Well, Andes. So the Andes virus, I just happen to be painting Andes specific, ancient Andes art for a couple of months. And now the one rare hantavirus that can go human to human, and it's gone human to human apparently on the cruise ship, although they're still investigating, from Andes, is the Andes virus. Those are kind of like synchronicities, kind of a spiritual synchronicity that kind of Carl Jung refers to, like a cosmic unconscious. It's like, you got to be careful what you ask for. People sending out stuff, like I'll send out, jumbo shrimp. And all of a sudden I got a friend going, hey, you want to come over for a barbecue? Why don't you get some of those jumbo shrimp? And I got steaks. We'll do it on the full moon here, on the blue moon on the end of May. And I'm like, yeah, I was just thinking about jumbo shrimp. I don't have a grill. I'm in an apartment life. We don't have barbecues and blah, blah, blah. And bam, now all of a sudden, big backyard, we got a grill, we got a bonfire, and I'm going to have some jumbo shrimp and surf and turf and some steaks on the blue moon. That is, I believe the power of that. People go, oh, bro, you're out of your mind, you're crazy. I could be. Yeah, I could be. Is that a bad thing? I'm not harming anybody. And I'm not harming myself. Come on now, man. That's a positive crazy if you ask me. Joanne says, I do a lot of Aborigine art. What? You're an artist too? It has a lot of meaning in telling a story. Yes. So now all of a sudden, you're an Aborigine shaman. You're studying shamanic Aussie art. Venus goddess of love, Taurus, from the magical, mysterious world of Australia. Okay? It just gets better and better and better. I'd love to see some of that work. Aborigine art, I'd love to see some of that. I haven't studied too much of Aborigine Australian art. I'm an Indigenous Australian. Wow. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Gray. Pleasure to meet you, Miss Joanne Gray. I'm Aborigine. Wow. That's powerful. Thanks for dropping in. I love that. Because I've got some Indigenous bloodline here, but I don't really talk about it too much. But I'm specifically fascinated with ancient Indigenous artwork. And lately, for months, I've been studying art of the ancient Andes, or ancient art of the Andes, which is Peruvian. There's a lot of extraterrestrial energies and stories that pops up in the news cycle, which has kind of been percolating, but now it's like really effing hot right now, right? UAPs and aliens, Peru, Machu Picchu, that it all just kind of like, and then bam, right? Are you with me? It's like bam, Andes variant, not just any variant. It's not the Argentine variant. It's not just Peruvian variant. It's not Mexican variant. It's not one of, got all these hundreds of variants. What is it, the variant? What's the one that's circulating? What's the one that's killing people right now? Andes variant from the Andes Mountains of the ancient artwork that we've been studying. So people are like, well, so what? Well, I look for those little things, okay? I just look for those little synchronicities. It's kind of like it's like the spirit world communicating with me. And it doesn't really necessarily mean I can pick the lottery numbers, because I do try. I do play the lottery, and I'll buy $1 ticket, and I try to win, and I can't pick them. So now I'm doing just quick picks, and I'm not doing very well. So, but it's not like I have that power. I wish I could win. I need the lottery, man. If I won the lottery, it'd be like world tour. Here we go. It'd jump on a hunt a virus infected ship and start sailing away. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't want to do that. But it's an interesting dynamic. So how we do that. So with all of this interplanetary conjunction, and with Mercury making this little sneaky little slide into Taurus next to the sun, we pay attention to that. We pay attention to that because that, with a whole bunch of other tight geometric alignments of our solar system, our interplanetary alignment, when that comes together, the dance floor comes alive. And it doesn't mean it will, probably will. And you could argue and say, well, dude, there's volcanoes erupting all over now. This solar cycle 25 has been just spitting fire, and we've seen action like we haven't seen in 15 years. True. Good point. Good points. True. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're noticing the patterns. We're noticing the patterns of solar cycle 25, which we're in. We're noticing the patterns. There's been dance floor movement. Huge, massive dance floor movement. Japan, Indonesia. You got Tonga down there. Honka, what's his name? What's that? Honga Tonga? What's that volcano down there? Honga Tonga. Joanne says, we have the hantavirus and think it's called, but it's the first time have it in our country. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's like they're really hyping this one up, right? I mean, you can feel they really, in Australia, they really tightened down the bolts on Australia during COVID pandemic, didn't they, Joanne? That's what I read in the press. They really came hard on you guys. Of course, they came hard for everybody, but can you feel that same type of narrative? We got WHO coming in. We got Tedros, who killed a whole bunch of his village people by calling loose stool. He called cholera loose stool. When Tedros is in there lecturing, it's like bing, 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 bing. It's like, you don't have to be a psychic gypsy palm reader. You got Tedros in front of the world again saying a bunch of crazy fucking Tedros shit, right? Am I wrong? I mean, come on. We couldn't even leave our house. I saw it. Joanne, I saw it. And that crazy leader down there, that prime minister, she was just like coked up out of her head. I mean, every time I saw her, she was like, you see her in front of the cameras and her eyes are like this, and she's darting left, right, left, up, down, just snorting her brains out. I mean, she was worse than Zelensky of the Ukraine. And that guy, clearly, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a substance abuse, although I do have some training in, and I did work with the population for years. That's a side note. Not a doctor, but I can recognize from a million miles away that guy is snorting truckloads of cocaine in the Ukraine, and he probably got it from our own fucking DEA and CEI. If you remember the history and patterns of the way the USA likes to roll with the Iran Contra scandal and Oliver North and all the rest of these guys. I mean, they're just. You can clearly recognize. That's the thing. It's like in the 80s, you would see that stuff everywhere. I go into I'm not having drinks with friends. I go into the restroom. I'm just trying to take a piss. I've had a couple of beers. I'm in the bathroom, and there's like 4 or 5 guys just starting their brains out in there. And I'm like, what is the deal with you guys? What the hell is going on? Go have some drinks and cool out. You're just getting all zoomed up, man. So, but once you see that, once you're around that, if you've ever seen anybody or if you've ever done it, or if you've had friends or loved ones or family, or you've just been exposed to it, you recognize it like cocaine radar. It's like high tech surveillance type of little bling bling. It pops. It does that. That Australian PM, she was coked out of her fucking mind. And I know she shut you guys all down. Took all your guns, shut down everything, and I've seen a lot of that. It makes me sad. Yeah, well, I'm on the West Coast. Joanne, I don't know if you've ever been here, but I mean, oh my God. I mean, we probably use more drugs than the entire country put together. It's the saddest damn thing here on the West Coast. Seattle, you got everybody. It just looks like zombies. It's like right out of a movie. It's like a zombie apocalypse. We call it the Fenty Fold. So you see these guys. Where's my little? Oh, I got them on the back wall. I got my little bones guy. You see these guys and they're like upright. Nobody's upright. It's like their head goes doing, and all of a sudden their body it's like collapsing. It's folding up, and it's like all of a sudden they're like a circus carnival act. It's like, how did your body do that? It's not even like possible for a sober person to do yoga stretches like that. I've dated yoga instructors. They can't bend their bodies like that, and they're fucking yoga instructors. So it's that Fenty yoga, the Fenty Fold, and it's like, oh my God, Portland. It's bad. It's really bad. I think it's worse than the crack epidemic of the 80s, and I survived that here in Portland. That was pretty brutal. They may not be shooting each other as much as the crack epidemic, but in the 80s. But today, we're losing more people. We have more deaths on the street from the overdoses. It's costing us much more, because it's destroyed business downtown. Seattle too. You go all through downtown and it's all just boarded up, vacant. The corporations have left. They said, screw you guys. You can't keep us safe, and you keep jacking up our taxes. Joanne says, we never had homelessness in Australia, but now it's becoming a pandemic. Isn't that remarkable? Wow. Right? Wow. Because of COVID, right? The COVID mandates, it probably shut down business, and now people losing their homes. And you've never seen it before in Australia. Like, are you on isn't Australia like mostly just like that east strip there? And then but you're Aborigine. Maybe you are out in the Aborigine, the back bush they call it, right? But isn't it like Sydney, and that it's like that real nice little industrialized, very nice little urban strip there? And wow. Well, that's interesting that you tell us that. You did say you're Aborigine, so you could be anywhere down there. So anyway, let me wrap up this Astro read here for Saturday. I think I pretty much got it, but you got Mars is conjunct Chiron. That's this comet way out there, Chiron. I don't really know how I feel about Chiron. I can't really say. It's not a planet. Is it really doing anything? I'm not as critical. I don't have as much animosity for Chiron as I do Pluto. I mean, if Pluto died, I'd probably, have a drink or something and celebrate. I don't like Pluto. I think Pluto is the biggest con artist piece of gravel junk that's ever floating around. It's not even in our orbit. It's not a planet. It's a piece of junk. Jupiter has moons that are bigger than Pluto, which they were calling a planet for years, and now they want to call it a dwarf planet. But, if you're a conspiracy theorist, and I say this every time, if anything is a mothership, it's Pluto. Because you got Pluto way out here all by itself doing these weird little, like, what are you doing out there, bro? And then Pluto is like, it's 25-year cycles of just fucking around out there, just watching us here on Earth. I mean, something's sus with Pluto. And ironic, all of this stuff, all of these, this is my daily my little reader, it tells me everything that's going on and, what's happening. There's some other stuff in the back that's kind of cool. but it's all focused Pluto. Pluto. That's happening now this weekend too. So if you believe in Pluto, that mythology that Pluto is like some sort of cool dude doing some cool dude shit, which I beg to differ. If it's a mothership, then that's different. But let's just call it what it is. It's like some sort of invader craft of some kind. Pluto's an invader. We should nuke it. I mean, if we could get Elon, he's got all that money and he wants to do weird shit. We should send a missile off to Pluto. I mean, that would be historical. I mean, we tap into the side of fucking Pluto's ass. They say the moon isn't real. Could it be an alien ship? Well, I've heard that. And as crazy as it may have sounded for me to say, that it would be kind of interesting to shoot a rocket off and see if we could tag Pluto. They shot a missile into the moon. I kid you not. I mean, that was the weirdest damn thing. And it was like all the media just like it was every day. It's like, oh, no big deal. Oh, they shot a rocket into the bottom of the moon. Oh, well, what'd they find? Was there any dust? It's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck's idea down at NASA? Who was the genius that said, let's start shooting rockets into the effing moon? And you have to wonder why. Why? What the hell's on the moon that you gotta send rockets into? I don't know. I'm asking. I don't know. Yes, they did. Joanne says, yes, they did. And that they said it sounded hollow. What? How do they? I mean, it's like, what is going on? What the hell? How much did that cost us? Was it an international agreement? I mean, did we sit down like with these space station and all agree and say, yeah, let's send a couple of rounds into the bottom of fucking moon and see what the hell's going on? Now, hollow, I don't know what to say about that. Is that true? It just doesn't. I mean, there's some weird things about the moon. Like, it doesn't spin. It doesn't rotate. And there's no atmosphere. And it's like, I don't know. It's pretty weird. And I noticed one thing with the Artemis. I always want to say Artemis. I think it's Artemis. With that little trip, they said people say that didn't happen. I believe it happened. Okay. Like it reverberated. Oh, like a drum. Yeah. Really? Well, it's pretty far out. Well, what I wanted to say is they went on the dark side of the moon, right? Like Pink Floyd. Cue Pink Floyd, man. I love that song. So that's a great album. Dark Side of the Moon. Pink Floyd, right? Coming up. No, I don't have my DJ. I'm not set up to do that. I should do that. It'd be fun. But the video cameras, and this is what I heard. I don't know if it's true. They're probably just trying to make fun of the guy, but like just trying to smear him or something. But they said that the African American guy like started crying and had some sort of a panic attack or something, and it's like he had a total fucking meltdown, freaked out from being on the dark side. So he couldn't see Earth. There's no sun, and the guy went fucking space bonkers. Now, it could just be a rumor, what I said? It's like there's so much. How would, where did that leak from? Who leaked that? But when you see some of the video footage, I don't know about all that, but it could be. I mean, it would not surprise me to have trained professionals lose their fucking shit in space. I mean, I could believe that. I have that on record player. Really? Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, really? The old vinyl? Oh, the old vinyl. I don't have any vinyl anymore. I hate to say that. It's all gone. That's the collectors. The vinyls, that's collectors. I used to have a sound system and just turn that up like really, really loud. Our neighbors would come and, I'd be like, yeah, turn that, I mean, but the louder it is, because it's so soft and it's such a beautiful, fluffy piece where you've got these soft vibrations. If you've got it really, really loud, you could do some teleporting, I believe. I think you can teleport with that one. But anyway, it probably helps that if you try some Cubensis, do some vision quests and some things like this, like I've done with that out, because the two, they pair really nice. It's like a nice crisp red Pinot Noir wine or something with a certain kind of cheese or something. It pairs really nice. Cubensis and that whole album, really. But anyway, so there was the one final thing on that is there was these flashes. So they're on the dark side of the moon, and there's explosions, like lasers, or I was going to say nuclear, but that's a little dramatic, but it is explosions. So they were saying that I guess that was rocks that were coming in that were hitting the dark side, and so they were trying to explain it in different ways. I don't know what to believe. I mean, people, if you want to believe that there's some sort of sneaky stuff going on, like some sort of weird space station or something up there, like, I joked that like the Chinese are up there and they've got a noodle shop, right? And so now NASA wants to get up there and build like a little pizzeria or something, to compete with China. Because China, when China's got a one-up, oh my God, all these billionaires' egos, all their panties are in a bunch and they're just start scrambling around. And that's probably how the missile going into the fucking bottom of the moon came from. Is you got these millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire egomaniacs that are like, oh, fuck, they're over there on the dark side doing weird dark side moon shit. Let's launch some missiles. Up they go. You got to keep up with China. Joanne says they cover up too much when they should be informing the people. Oh, yeah, transparency? What an illusion. But that dark side stays dark, there was a lot of interesting science that came out of that. It's like, it's not spinning. It's not doing a rotation. Like even a planet going the wrong way, right? Or the wrong spin. I forget which planet does that. One of them does that. It's like going an opposite or odd way, or I don't know, whatever, but it's not doing any of that shit. It's weird. It's really weird. But those explosions are really sus. Really sus. Because if we were up there, which I believe we did walk on the moon, and, a lot of people want to argue that and have wanted to argue that for 10 fucking years. I don't know why people want to argue that. I believe we were there, but if we were there, how come we didn't catch any explosions happening with all that video footage up there with those guys? Was that a part of the fear and anxiety of sending more astronauts up there when they realize there's no atmosphere and they realize that you're just targets, like waiting for a small pebble that will blow the entire operation and base up? It doesn't take much, small little pebbles, to do some major damage up there on the moon. So you look at that, and they also say that's a part of the people that argue that it's hollow or something, or whatever, whatever they want to call it, is that's where there's so many pock marks, is why it's destroyed or shredded, tore up, because of that weird, it's like an outer shell. Nothing in the middle, it's like an outer shell, and that's why everything ping, 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 ping. Like with Earth, though, when the crater goes in, then it's like, oh, whoosh, whoosh. Of course, we got a lot of water here, so. But, so, yeah, buckle up, man. New moons can be just as powerful as a full moon. The data shows, anybody wants to question this is what you say, is you go, the data shows that the emergency rooms are much busier than any other time around full moons. You ask police officers or military or fire, I flip on the scanner. I like to listen to the Portland Fire and Rescue here. Just a weird nerd geeky thing I do, especially if I hear them like in the neighborhood zipping by the apartments here. I'll flip it on real quick and listen to that. It's all free. So, and they'll tell you that people go batshit crazy around full moons. It's documented. Joanne says, what about that black hole that ate a star and spat it back out? I don't know. it really makes you wonder what the hell is going on up there. And it really makes you wonder, what are they not telling us, right? You know, I mean, for example, I don't know if you guys caught this, but here in the States, Trump took all the bad boys and criminals over to China for beef noodle soup right there. And all of a sudden, there's all this weird shit going on. CIA comes in and steals a bunch of files. They steal the JFK files, and Secretary ODNI, Tulsi Gabbard, says CIA came in and stole their shit. They stole the files. What the hell is that? You're going to come in and steal? The president has signed off declassification. Guys, back off. Back off. We've got a right to know what the fuck is going on up there. So they steal the UFO, UAP files, whatever the fuck they call that. X-Files, Project X-Files. This is the allegedly. So there's like all this drama going on. Dad's out, grandpa's out of the house, and all of a sudden the rats come in with the CIA, start stealing shit. So they're in violation of the executive orders. They're in violation of direct constitutional orders that were executive orders from the president, chief. So, it's like, the fuck, I mean, that tells you we're in a civil war here. That tells me it's white hats and black hats. And that's a civil war. And we've known that's going on, but that's pretty obvious when you have CIA coming in directly to Secretary's office and stealing her files and stealing her shit. I mean, hopefully she's got backup. She's a pretty smart lady. But, and it kind of was weird because Rep. Anna Polina from Florida, Luna, which means moon, right? She was saying when she posted it and she was on Fox or whatever, and then I saw that she backtracked on it a little bit and said that they didn't do it today, but they did do it. They came in and took the files. So it was kind of being released like it happened today. I'm not sure if it did or didn't, but because there was evidence or there was testimony that kind of was contradicting itself, including from Rep. Anna Polina Luna herself. Did a post on X if that all went about like that. So she was saying, no, but it did happen, but it didn't happen today. And I was like, man, they spun that one like it happened this afternoon, like right now. Did it? Did something else happen? I mean, why are you telling us this while all the bad boys are out having beef noodle pho at China? So, but this weekend for weeks, this astrological alignment, some of these astrologers like Pam Gregory, she was talking about this month and this time next month too. Last year, she was saying it's a reset, guys. This is a reset in her light and fluffy, and she never wants to scare anybody, and she wants everybody to have love and light and turn the news off. She's got this whole thing, and whatever makes people happy, right? But I'm the exact opposite of that. It's like I scout out the danger. I'm looking for trouble. I'm looking for stranger danger, and I'm gonna kick its ass. Right? No, I don't know how to do that, but we're gonna talk about it coming. We're gonna talk about stranger danger coming. So, and that's what the vibes that we're getting here. So the moon is conjunct Mercury. That's what I've got right here. So the sun's conjunct the moon, conjunct Mercury, sextile with Jupiter, which is like a good favorable thing. And then it's conjunct Uranus, which is the godfather, the underworld. And so the only thing that's missing there is like, what's Venus doing? What is the goddess of love or domestic relationships, which I interpret that. My lens is domestic being here in Oregon or here in the US, and stuff like that. So anyway, so there was one other thing. There's Victoria Day in Canada this Monday. Oh yeah, and then the Mars goes into Taurus too. So that could be problematic. I mean, when you're talking about it, Mars being the bullheaded, being the explosive, bullish, this is a good time to create. It's a good time to produce art. If you're a musician, it's a good time to perform. This is a good time to get out of the urban concrete jungles, get out into the forest, get out into the woods, just get out, go to the beach, go to the ocean. I mean, we go 1 hour here in Portland and we are at the Oregon Pacific Ocean, up at Mount Hood. We go to the desert. If we go south down to Bend, I mean, we are in a wonderful, amazing ecosystem here. And I know that everybody doesn't have that. So, and we, the locals, are really take it for granted. And we're spoiled. We're spoiled rotten that we've got that stuff there, you know. So, but if you can do all that, get out and get some fresh air. Good time to go camping. Good time to just get in touch with things, because my spidey sense is saying that this bullish type of energy is going to trigger people that are not doing well. And we know that we have at least 300 million people here in the States that aren't doing well. Well, that might be a little bit high, Dad. Maybe not 300 million that aren't doing well, but I'd say 200 million people aren't. No, I don't know. Whatever the numbers are. When you throw numbers out, you can say anything you want. And Joanne said, I have already planned fishing and weekend. Can't wait. Oh, have fun, Joanne. That's great. We are right in the same type of synchronicity on the other side of the Pacific Ocean, but on the Ring of Fire. And our minds, spirit, and soul will be connected forever, Joanne. Connected forever. No matter what. They can't keep us apart forever. We are connected in the spirit world. Don't ever forget that. So, and it goes all the way into next week. Venus goes into Cancer, which is very emotional on Monday. That, you know, the old lady might get emotional, crying more than normal. Any relationships may be more emotional. Childhood trauma might pop up. I mean, anything you can connect with emotional. And so that's all going down. So that there's just a lot of stuff happening astrologically. There's alignments, and then that also means not too much longer you're going to have misalignments, but it's a reset. And so, like the matador in the bull ring, the power is in your hands. Literally, your life as a matador is in your hands. You have the sword. One wrong move and it may cost you your life, but you have to carefully place that sword into the alter ego that's bringing you down, the danger, the addiction, the bad vibes, the bad moods, or the bad alter egos, or whatever it is. You have to plummet that sword deep into the back neck of the beast for you to come out victorious. And keep in mind, your life is in danger as you fight for your life. That's the kind of vibes and energy that I've been reading for weeks on this weekend. Actually, to be honest, the last 4 weekends. Because I kept saying before Donnie struck, I kept saying, okay, it'll be this weekend. And everyone else was like, oh, white knuckle, they call it white knuckle. Like, oh, God, it's going to be this weekend. It's going to happen. We're going to have World War. It's going to come. It's going to come. And it didn't happen. Then you have another weekend. Didn't happen. And I kept thinking, it's going to happen. We all know it's going to happen. And it did. It was a bloody massacre. It's very unfortunate. Joanne shares, I also have PTSD from childhood trauma, but I see a counselor. Absolutely. We all have PTSD from our childhood on one way or another. And it doesn't matter whether they're wealthy or whether we came from poverty. I came from poverty. They've all got trauma. I mean, the wealthy kids I went to school with in high school, they often had more problems than the resilient working class poor kids that friends of mine. So it strikes everyone. And abuse is abuse. You can have bad parents. You can have bad siblings. You can have, there's so many different things that can go wrong. And we have to let that go. And that's really another part of this for me is the matador. It's also a part of you are slaying that which is bringing you down and tormenting you and wanting us to consume and self-medicate. I drank like a fish for years. And, it messes up your body. liver took some hits, kidneys took some hits. I mean, I got scars and stitches and all kinds. I mean, not all connected to that, but it kind of is connected in a way. But you look back and it's like, man, I've got these issues with my father, and that's why I am triggered with authority. So I would have this like weird reaction to authoritarian figures. And if they were wearing badges, it's like, it was like, you're wrestling police and stuff. And it's like, oh my God. I mean, that's how people die. You can't wrestle police. You're resisting arrest is a death sentence in many cities, many states, many countries. I mean, we know this. And then I went into social services, and you hear other people. I was working with at-risk youth. They're out on the street. They're battled their parents, or they're battling the police on the streets and battling rival gangs. And it's like all this drama and conflict that stemmed from their childhood. Gabor Mate, there's a psychiatrist named Gabor Mate, and he writes a book called In the Realm of Hungry Ghosts. Mate, M-A-T-E. And it was required for the child psychology studies I was doing. And he talks about how people self-medicate because of the childhood trauma. Adults get sick because of the trauma. And there's a whole scientific connection. Cortisol, the adrenaline, all of these different chemical changes. That's why poor people don't live as long, because they have so much more anxiety to live. Paying the rent, you got to fight the landlords. You lose and the landlord wins. There's all this conflict and drama and issues that come about, and you can see it scientifically. It breaks down. Joanne says, Sam, I drank a lot before I found out I was born with one kidney. Wow. So you had a scan and they said, man, take it easy. You only got one kidney. I did self-medicate with weed. It did me no good. It isn't for everyone, but cannabis is how I quit drinking. It's a part of how I quit drinking. Really, to be honest, it was psilocybin cubenzas and doing those vision quests, because I would do tribal, I'd do a wigwam. I got into these tribal sweats. You do 4 rounds, right? North, south, east, west. That's First Nations indigenous sweats. And so you heat up the rocks around the fire. You want to get the rocks that are more volcanic. They'll explode. If you don't get the right rocks, you heat the rocks, and then you go into the wigwam. You bring around the rocks. One guy, the shaman type of guy, brings in, he's the handler, brings in the hot rocks, and then you got your sage, your cedar, sweetgrass, whatever else is going on there. And in addition, then you do vision quest. So the vision quest is what the indigenous are talking about with the ayahuasca or the cubenzas, or an assortment of. There's another one called Bogaine. I found it really interesting that President Trump, with Joe Rogan's encouragement, and they spun it as they were signing executive order for psychedelic research for depressed veterans. So it was, he freed up a bunch of reclassifications. He rescheduled cannabis with an executive order, which is effing huge for people that are in the legal cannabis business. And then this was another one. This was a separate one last month, weeks ago. I don't think it was this month. It was pretty recent. The research. And there was one from Africa called, it was like Bogaine, Bogata. I never heard of it. I'd never heard of it, but it was something that it sounded a lot like DMT or like a ayahuasca type of thing, where you just lose your effing mind. And there was veterans that were in the Oval Office, and they were testifying, and they were saying, yeah, I was going to kill myself. I had my hand on my gun, I'm drinking myself to death, drinking nonstop all day, all night. That in itself is going to make you depressed. I mean, you're dehydrated. And alcohol is so horrible for the body, especially people, but it allows them to check out. They have the drinks and they black out and they're checked out and they're numb, right? It's the same thing for all these guys. The heroin addicts, the Fenty Fold folks, everybody. They're all doing this checkout scenario. And why? Because things fell apart and often originates from childhood. And that's a part of this reset, this Astro Aspect reset that I'm talking about, that others are talking about, astrologers, professional astrologers are talking about, that there is this reset, there is this realignment of interplanetary alignment. But also comes with that is misalignments. As it's aligning, can be glitches. And Joanne says, I'd love to experience something. It's wonderful. I mean, just steam sauna, just getting in a steam sauna and sweating out those toxins is a rebirth in itself. It feels like when you're getting into these little wigwams, however it is, it can be organic, it can be tarps too. I've been in all of them. It's really nice when it's like, reeds. You do green reed and you got all your branches and it's like it's like a beaver's home or something, right? It's a beaver's nest. It's all organic. And it feels like you're climbing into a womb. You feel like you are going into the Earth's womb, literally. And it's dug out in there. You got little seats around the rocks, so it's like you're literally dug into that lining of Earth's womb. That's very powerful. That's very significant, because the death of our old ways, our toxic ways, makes room for the rebirth, the birthing as you come out of that wigwam, literally gasping for cool evening air, because you've been in this hot, steaming, almost to the point where you think you're going to die. You actually feel like in the third round, if you make it that long, a lot of guys couldn't make it to the third. I could do it. I can handle the heat. I like the heat a lot. But that third round, it comes to you like, I may pass out. I think I might be pushing myself. I feel like I might be blacking out. And you gotta do a read there, because it can be dangerous. You should always go out. You never force anybody to hang in, stay in there. It's like, and you can come back in. You just don't come back in and break this round. You'll come back in on the fourth round. You'll have an opportunity to sit down, and then we'll bring in the hot rocks for you. So feel free, get some fresh air. But you literally, it's like, as soon as you come out of that wigwam, it's just like a gasp of fresh air. It's like that first breath that a baby has coming out of the mother's womb. So there's the physical dynamics to the rebirth. And there's a physical dynamics, just like the matador, killing the subconscious, the beast, that will kill us if we don't kill that subconscious that's putting our lives in danger inside our own heads, right? We are our own worst enemy, but we are also our best healer, right? So people go to seeking the doctor when the doctor is right here all along with the spirit world. As soon as you turn your life over to God, as soon as you turn your mind over to the spirit world and you say, God, guide me, take me where you want me to go. But I plead with you now, Father, in the Holy Spirit, heal me, make me whole, heal that which is toxic and broken inside. And with that prayer, with that meditation, and bringing, you'll feel it. I got goosebumps just saying that out loud on my back. It's like, you'll feel it. You will feel the Holy Spirit. You will feel the presence of the Holy Spirit. You will feel God in the room with you. And, people are like, oh, yeah, for real. but you got to be open to it. It's the same thing with the spirit world. There's good spirits, lots of good, powerful spirits. And I usually take that as like, I'm like, please download, give me, give me, help me, please, whatever it is. I want to know. Let me know. Then the bad spirits, it's a rejection, right? And it's like, stand back. Okay. Don't make me put you in a headlock. All right. Because I'll do that. All right. You step back in the name of Jesus. Just get back behind me, see? And by doing that, boom, you will feel the presence of a light and the Holy Ghost. And you'll know that protective energy is there. And you need that. In a place like Portland, you're going to need that. You're going to need that every single day. Place like Seattle, your life's in danger. They just had some crazy guy stab a young girl at the University of Washington. She's in doing her laundry. She's in there doing her laundry. Some crazy son of a bitch comes storming in there and stab that poor girl, University of Washington. That happens. That's happening now every day. How about the guy in Boston? They got a video of him the other day. He's got a machine gun, automatic, semi-automatic, whatever it was. I couldn't tell. I'm not a gun expert, but he's just firing into the moving traffic and firing rounds off, and you can hear him going on. It's like, what the fuck? It's like this guy playing video games and just like leaves the video game room, and he's wandering down the streets. It's almost every single day now. That is a spiritual warfare. That is a demon-possessed individual that's going to take firearms and begin randomly shooting up women and children and people in vehicles outside on the roads. I mean, you don't need to be a spirit worker. You don't need to be an exorcist, or you recognize it when you see it. That's demon possession. Sure, there's mental illness with it. You don't think there's mental illness with demon-possessed people? I assure you, there is a connection. So, Joanne says, I've really enjoyed chatting with you, but I need to pick my daughter up from school. We'll definitely look out for you next live. Thank you, Joanne. God bless you, and God bless your daughter. And I sure hope you drop in again, because you were really right. You're on the other side of the Pacific Ring of Fire, but everything that's going on with you is going on with us. And we're artists and creators. Taurus, you're artist, creator. I have a daughter. I've got a teen daughter, lives with me. I've raised her on my own. We've got a lot of similarities, and that is a part of that synchronicity. So, please come back. Don't forget about us. It's always good. Drop in anytime and say hello. So, vaya con Dios. Go with God. Vaya con Dios, Joanne. Vaya con Dios. So I think that's where we're at. I kind of got rambling on there. I think I went through everything, and I talked about the visuals that I'm having of underwater volcanoes. I feel like the Oregon underwater volcano is going to go, and we have other underwater volcanoes that are showing the symptoms. We just need to get submarines or Jacques Cousteau type of boats and video and get it down there. I hope somebody will get on that. I mean, if I had money, I wouldn't be shooting rockets into space. I'd be going into the oceans, because I'm the type of guy, I don't believe the aliens are coming around from, well, some may. I don't want to dispute that. I think they're here. I think the ancient time travelers are here, and were here before us, and they're still here, whether it's in deep underground caves or underwater caves or in the ocean, Atlantis style. I can feel it. I don't see them. I don't feel like they're all coming through this time travel portal, although black holes and portals, you mentioned black holes before, but a part of that whole black hole portal, it has to have something like that to time travel and to cover that gap and to make that distance, because you have to travel the speed of light to travel the speed of the length and distance of space to get here. My gut tells me, and then you've got this whole hybrid, this interbreeding hybrid. They're alluding to this. The CIA declassification says, yes, this is real. They declassify and say, yeah, there's real alien bodies and we've got hybrid bodies. And it's like, wait, what? I believe that. And, and that's a part of, the old guy. I think he turned 75. He looks great. He's in better shape than me. I think he said he turned 75. David Icke. Is it Ike or Icke? Acke. He's talking about lizard people long before anybody else ever whispered lizard people. And what do we know? What do we know now? Now they're declassified. Now they're saying, yeah, by the way, we've been doing this and that, and we tried it with animals, and we've got these things with people, and oh yeah, by the way, those weird neighbors you got, yeah, those are tall whites mixed with a gray. Little hybrid thing we did down there in the southern belt of Alabama. You're like, wait, what? Wait, and then you got the CIA coming in and raiding and stealing the files from Tulsi. Oh, shit. God bless. It's all right. Well, we'll try to do another one here in a couple of days. I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try to shoot for, well, is it Saturday? If I can. I'm trying to shoot for doing a live here on that new moon on Saturday night, and we'll see what's happening. But I would like to pop in if some of these things verify. If we have, especially that underwater volcano off Oregon coast, my backyard, our backyard here, if that comes off, I'm definitely gonna have to come on and just talk about it, because I'll just, I'll have chills. I'll be euphoric that the timing of that, because it's coming. We're all waiting. It's just a matter of when. But anything like that, because the strain in that Mercury with the sun, that's a pattern. And I've repeated it, and it's very important to watch if you're into this kind of stuff. Mercury, when it comes around and buddies up, conjuncts with the sun, it's doing right now. So we got this whole cluster of Taurus. It was a cluster of Aries a month ago, or a little longer, 2 months, whatever it was, 6 weeks. I think it was 2 months. I did a video on it. It was a huge cluster of me first, selfish Aries. Me, Aries. It's bullheaded, it's savage, it's narcissistic, it's a red flag. And it's rare to have 7 of our stellar interplanetary aspects all in one sign. Very, very, very rare. And they were in Aries. That kind of triggered this last couple of months of like visuals, vivid dreams. I'm battling all kinds of weird, I think they're hybrid type of creatures. They're kind of like crocodiles, and there's mud. I've got guns. I'm trying to rescue my daughter. They've got my daughter somewhere in a mud hole, and I'm like going through these mountainsides, battling these alligators, and I was just like some sort of hybrid type alligator. Dreams like that. I don't know if you've been having those, but man, dreams like that. It's like, whoa, right? My God. So, anyway, I love that painting. Isn't that cool? See that one right there? I put some stripes on the city. And it's the jazz musicians. I'll do a quick little short in a couple days though. I need to do another layer on it, but it looks so cool with those buildings. They look like stacks of pancakes or something, right? It's so much cooler than it was. I'm gonna do a little more development on that. Anyway, peace out. Be safe. Be as safe as you can. Be very aware. You're not going to prevent the head injuries, but I see like a whole weekend of head injuries. I don't even know what that means. I guess there's all kinds of head injuries. You got speeding accidents, car accidents, race car accidents. I mean, what does that mean? I don't even know. But it's like head injuries. It's like, it's off the hook. It's as vivid as underwater volcanoes popping off, like the Tonga guy. That Tonga volcano, it was a couple years ago. There's still water circulating around Earth, the atmosphere, from the water. It shot into the air. It was 52,000. It was like miles and miles, almost into the atmosphere. That Tonga shot, the underwater volcano, shot water up into almost space. That's exactly what created and ended these ice ages and civilizations. That in comets and everything else. It wasn't big trucks and fossil fuels and gasoline and all this crap that these climate hysteria lunatics want to talk about with fossil fuels and climate change and weather. It's weather change. And they're programming the kids to get sick. It's just like creating trauma, and you're creating adult drug addicts from the trauma that you give these children in the from basic child psychology now today. We know this is a fact. Cortisol, all these other hormones. When you tell young people they're going to be dead in 8 years, like these Democrat politics, Rep, AOC, and all these Al Gore, all these other just chump. I can't curse. I don't want to curse. I want to say a bunch of bad words. It's brainwashing, and it's not healthy, and it makes children sick. It creates anxiety, and they start doing reckless behavior. I worked with at-risk youth for several years downtown. I know what I'm talking about with child psychology and stress in their early age, creating trauma in the teens and creating sick adults if they even live to become adults. This is the pattern that has to be broke. And environmentalism is not helping. It's contributing to this risky behavior because they think they're going to be dead soon. So why not do fentanyl? Why not race around drunk? Why not, drive our car into the Willamette River and we're going to be dead. Well, we all died. One guy survived. That was last month. Bunch of young kids. I don't know what kind of drugs they're on. I have no idea, but they raced around the waterfront, jumped into the Willamette River in their car, and sunk down to their death. Found bodies down the river. One guy got out and somehow got his ass up to breathe. Everybody else dead. So, I mean, it's that, I see that kind of, its potential of that, but more than likely, a mega quake. And I'm thinking we all are waiting, California. I hate to say it. It doesn't matter that I say it because nobody from California even here. Nobody's ever going to hear my video. I get a couple hundred people. California. And hopefully it's not as bad as it could be. You know what I mean? Because a 7 is different than an 8. It's still, if it hits down there in southern LA with 25, 30 million people, there'll be a couple 100,000 people dead. That's a lot of head trauma. And then it would make sense what this whole head injury, 3-time type of repeat, just like the last time with that water. Oh yeah, one quick thing also on that water. We had a domestic situation with the guy that loaded up his car with explosives. This is in Portland. This was just a couple weeks ago. It was right after my video saying red alert, Venus and this and Scorpio and this and that, water. So, I kind of defined, well, it could have been the cruise ship and there's oceans, water. Well, this guy loads up with propane tanks. He's got some sort of autistic super genius, but yet suicidal maniac, young guy, rigs explosives. He somehow figures out how to wire explosives, hooks them up to cans of propane into this nice looking Subaru. The video that I saw of him driving in, he crashes through the front fucking window of his employer, or previous employer, Multnomah Athletic Club. Just happens to be the millionaires, fitness club. You got to be very wealthy to even get in there. He crashes through there, drives through the lobby. Well, what's right in front of him? I don't know if he was planning on it, but I know it because I've been in there. I went to Lincoln High School. It's across the street. Lincoln High. I had lots of friends that coming from very wealthy families. And so I've been in there. What's in there past that lobby is a swimming pool. Water. Water, water, water. So I predicted crazy people doing crazy shit. I couldn't pinpoint where it was going to pop up. And I kept getting water, water, water as the signal. I'm just explaining, repeating how it comes about. Just like now with this head injury and underwater volcano. I can't tell you exactly where it's going to go. It may not be like some huge tsunami and just in devastating movie type thing, although it might be. Anything that happens is going to be, it'll go viral in international news. So some sort of underwater type of scenario. So that was, he could have driven. I don't know if he was gunning for I can't imagine why he would gun. What was he even crashing into? He's going to blow up the lobby? It was after, I think it was like, I don't know if it was, I call it bar 30, after bar 30, it's like when the bars close. It was close to that time though. It was after midnight. So the bars are open till like 2:30. We call that bar 30. Lots of crime. Anybody that's ever knows anything about anything, 2:30, 3 o'clock, it's crime spree across Portland. Any city, really. But Portland, with all the drugs and the alcohol, at least it was in the old days. I think it still is. I've seen a lot of people die from driving under the influence lately in the news. A lot of people hit, a lot of people dead. Those are head injuries. That's what I'm thinking about coming for this weekend. And so the energy, when I say that the new moon, this covert, and Donnie's going to do his military actions, it could be Friday night, could be Saturday night on the military actions. But this new moon, these energy and vibrations are building now. So it's 2 or 3 days, sometimes more, up to that full power and alignment. And then 2 or 3 days after, it can all apply. And then you combine Mars going into Taurus, joining all these other, the Sun, Mercury, Uranus, all these other energies, Astro Aspects, planets in Taurus. It is significant. It amplifies things. It's an imbalance. There's not that balance. There's the negative things of the Taurus, the head bunt, those horns coming at, all of the stubbornness, brawls, violence, fighting, machine guns, all of that comes together in an amplified way. So, I can't say I know exactly what's happening. We've heard Donnie talk about threatening to send Iranians back to the Fred Flintstone days, Stone Ages. I'm going to bomb them to an oblivion, or all these other weird, totally psychotic things that nobody needs to say to even their enemies on a national stage, that Donnie continues to repeat. And all of that behavior, not only is it homicidal and sociopathic, it's tanking the domestic agenda. It's tanking the midterms. We're going to lose seats. We're going deep into debt. And they want trillions of dollars more so they can continue to do that for another 2 years. $2 trillion for the military. They wanted to beef it up another $1 trillion. Democrats are saying F you. Libertarians are saying F you. Independents like me are saying fuck no. Fuck no. Give peace a chance. All right? This weekend, heads up. Probably talk the next couple of days. Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. Like I said, if anything I just said verifies, like it did the last weekend, and like it did the weekend before, and it did the weekend before that on my videos. I don't do videos very often, but I was talking about the alerts, talking about what could happen, talking about the Astro Aspects and the imbalance of what's coming through. I'll come online to talk about the verification. So, all right. God bless you. We'll see you soon.